Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is Rob, and we are here to do the Last Jedi Star Wars Episode 9 reaction and review. This will have full spoilers, but I'll let you know when that's going to kick in before I get to them. So be warned, there will be spoilers ahead. Went to see it at 9 o'clock this morning at the IMAX. Got me one of these cool babies here. Like Luke says, and you hear in the trailer, this is not going to go the way you think. And that is pretty true for some things going on here. It's also kind of funny that my very first shared YouTube video was for The Force Awakens, and it was like a little blurb that I did on it, not knowing that it would even work on my phone. It was my finding out how to work my camera was for The Force Awakens. And so I'm happy to be doing this review, even though everybody's done it, everybody's got their spoilers, all the really important people out there in YouTube land who have many more subscribers than I do, have put in their opinions, and they've done their spoiler reviews, and some of the people I respect, and some of the people I think are whatever. Let's just put it like that. Red Letter Media makes fun of these people pretty good on their nerd Star Wars nerd thing that they do on there. It's pretty good. If you haven't checked Red Letter Media out, I suggest you do it. But anyway, we're talking about Episode 9, The Last Jedi. And I did not know, I was so nervous going into this because I love Star Wars so much. It's such a part of my, it's a feeling. It's not just, I don't cosplay, and I have t-shirts and stuff, and I have, I got my Funko Pops, and I got my posters, and I got t-shirts, but I'm not like one of those people that's out there just screaming to the heavens how much I love Star Wars, because I don't need, I'll wear a t-shirt for me, not to go out there and be like, hey, look at my shirt. Because Star Wars for me is a feeling. It's something that, is so close to me that I like to have these reminders. I like to wake up and look at Rey's face and look at my Funko Pops and things like that, because it's always been there. I've seen Return of the Jedi probably more times than any movie, and that's not even my favorite Star Wars movie. But anyway, that's just, I just wanted to explain a little bit about my Star Wars background going into this, and my expectations, and why I was just so worried because that trailer just was very misleading, and I was hoping it'd be misleading. I was hoping that the things that I was getting the vibe from were wrong, but I went into this kind of trepidatious, but I am happy to say that this movie was awesome. Shook my camera again. I get all excited. This movie had me, just thinking about this movie makes me smile, makes my heart jump. I'm going to go see this again on Tuesday. I gotta work. I would go see it again today, but I needed to get this. I want to get this video out, and I got some other things I got to do today. But Tuesday for sure, I'm seeing this again, and then probably again on the weekend. I think I'm going to see this movie probably about 5 or 6 times at the theater, because it's that good. Now, I've heard before I get into spoilers and stuff, I'll talk about what some other people have said and what I'm feeling. So let's break it down, because yes, I just said how good it is. Go see it as soon as possible. Go see it in IMAX if you can. I don't know what the 3D is like, but it doesn't need it if you see it on IMAX. I don't think you need it at all. If you're a real Star Wars fan, just go see it, and don't be worried. There are some things that will challenge you and make you feel certain ways that you maybe aren't ready for, because there are things that happened in this movie that I have not quite processed, And it's one of the reasons why I need to see it a second time, and a third and a fourth, fifth, sixth. But like it, all the things I was worried about, um, I, I, I have new hope now that when the next movie comes out, I'm not going to have those fears going into the next movie. I know it. No matter what they put in the trailer, my fears are allayed, and I am completely on board with whatever they decide to do next. So, as far as the performances go, everyone was really good. Everyone. I'm not that big a fan of the Rose character. Maybe more like the actress. I don't really think much of her as an actress. I've never seen her in anything before. She wasn't god awful. Just, I don't know. It just kind of seemed. She was probably my least favorite of the characters. And of the new characters. We got Laura Dern in here. We got Benicio del Toro, and Laura Dern was good in this. Benicio, I think maybe if they've got more planned for him, then maybe it was worth bringing him in here. Otherwise, I kind of feel like they could have gotten just about anybody to do this that wasn't on the level of Benicio del Toro. But Ray, Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, for the most part, really good. Really, really, really good. Carrie Fisher, phenomenal. Mark Hamill, out of the park, man. Out of the park, Mark. Because he was great, man. You know, he's like a slightly younger Ben Kenobi in this movie, you know? Like the grizzled, curmudgeon-y, slightly sarcastic kind of guy that after 30 years of whatever. Yeah, as far as that's all I'm going to talk about as far as the cast goes. Like Daisy Ridley, too. I'm so in love with Ray that was one of the things I was worried about, was where they were going to take Ray in this movie. And my fears are completely put to rest. The humor, some people were saying that the humor didn't work for them. There were a couple of times that it didn't work for me. For the most part, I was pretty much. I laughed at a lot of stuff in this movie. There were a couple of times, and one very notably where I was just like, boom, like it just landed with a thud for me. But that's a very small, minor thing for me. Some people have talked about the pacing. I was never bored. I was enthralled pretty much right away. They jumped away enough from each thing. People that complained about the Rose Finn storyline, while it was going on, I was actually enjoying, because John Boyega is really good, and BB-8, man, is fantastic in this movie. I wish that you could say he's an actor, because the stuff that they use him for, or her, or it, was fantastic. BB-8 was so great in this. Way back, he's just a robot, but if you liked him in the first one, they really kick it up a notch in the second one, this one. So, but as that storyline went on, the Finn and Rose story, as the movie went on, and because they do, cut it away and keep coming back to it, by the end of their little subplot, I do see where people had, problems with it because of where it ultimately leads. It could have been, something else could have been done here, but they went with it. They needed Finn to do something, so this is what they had. So I do get what people were saying. I didn't hate it while I was watching it, but by the end, I was like, yeah, this probably didn't need to happen. This probably didn't need to be here. They probably could have worked it a different way. So, I think as far as non-spoiler stuff goes, I think that's pretty much all I can say. So, here we are at about the 10-minute mark, so this is where we hit spoilers. I don't even know where to start. But, okay. Carrie Fisher. Man, I went to my dad, so I'm assuming everybody that's still here, you've seen it. When she gets blasted out the airlock, not the airlock, just out of the ship into space, I'm like, well, she dead. I'm sitting there like, well, that was rather unceremoniously done. I thought that they said she had more to do. And then she reveals that she's not dead. She's holding her breath really good. The Force works in space, everyone. I didn't care if that was like a new thing that they wanted to show. Fine, because it was awesome. It showed that Carrie, Princess Leia, is powerful. And she makes it back to the ship in space. It was great. And, Snoke. I'm not going to go in order in any of this. I'm just going to, as I think of things. Snoke. Wow. Like, I don't know if this counts as like a MacGuffin, but because he is powerful. But, yeah, I knew it was going to happen when it, you could see it going that way. But because of how Kylo killed Han, I wasn't 100% things were going to work out. Like Luke says, like things aren't going to be the way you think they are. But no, Snoke, sorry. Snoke gets cut in half by Kylo, and he's just dead. It was, I like the fact that they built this up, like for people, like, and he just ends up being nothing. In the end, like how powerful he was, he gets caught up in his own hubris. Like the Luke keeps talking about the hubris of the Jedi, and the Sith are the same way. I hope we learn a little bit more about Snoke, because the way he looks and everything, there's a story there. So I hope that in some way we're not quite done with Snoke. I really want to know that guy's backstory, because he's been through some shit. The whole thing with Kylo talking about Rey's parents being nobodies, I don't buy that. I don't think that's going to be the way it goes. So I think that's another little mislead. The Porks, yeah, they're definitely a toy. But they were fine. They were fine. I mean, I thought it was kind of Chewbacca didn't really have much to do in this movie. I mean, when he's in it, and he's pretty badass, but, like, he's really, really background in this, and so him and the little port things, whatever. It was, they gotta sell toys, and they weren't, like, thank God they didn't talk or anything. They were just there to be, like, little cutesy things, so, fine, whatever. Kylo, almost had me on board completely until he, kind of turned emo again near the end for me. I do think that he is a solid villain now, and shit's gonna go down in the next movie. But he really had me early, and then they kind of lost me with him. But that's okay. And I'm just so glad that Rey stayed Rey. And that action scene with her and Kylo was pretty badass. And just the fact that, she tried, and, now it's her against him. And Rey's powers are gonna be badass. She's already proving how much she can do. And, let's see, what else can we talk about? There was that crazy cameo by Justin Theroux in the casino, where he had the actual thing. So I guess he was the code breaker. Would have been nice if we could have actually gotten to know that character instead of the Benicio del Toro character. Maybe there's something more going to happen in the next movie. Another thing, when they didn't get the answer from the Outer Rim, I really thought that was going to be the place where they could bring in Lando. Don't know if that's going to be something for a future movie or if it, at all. It'd be nice to bring in Lando, but now that everybody's kind of dead from the originals, literally and figuratively, um, maybe it's pointless to bring Lando in. I don't know, but we'll see. The Luke was just so good. Mark Hamill was just so damn good in this, and I was worried, that they were gonna kill him off. But if they did kill him, as long as they killed him off in the right way, and I would be fine with it. And they handled Luke's arc and end perfectly, and I don't consider it an end. I do think he'll be back in the third movie, as whatever, as a ghost, the apparition, whatever the Force thing, because Yoda, when he showed up, man, I was literally like the guy in the theater goes, yeah. Like, there were a couple of people like going little claps or whatever. I'm the guy who goes, yeah. So, oh my God, I was so happy. That was just great because people are, this isn't Empire Strikes Back, but there are little tiny moments where it's a little bit more like a nod to Empire. Certain scenarios happen in certain places, happen and look a sort of like familiar way, but I'm totally cool with it because it's just they use these things in great ways, and the visuals in this were fantastic. And I'm not going to talk about jokes that were made because if I don't want the jokes ruined for you. But there's some really funny stuff that happens in here. Really funny. A lot of little snarky lines that I really liked. I'm trying to think of what else here. Wait, what do we got? We got Finn versus Phasma. It looks like Phasma's dead, but that armor is pretty protective. So if any stormtrooper's going to get out alive, it would probably be her. We'll see. I think that would be an interesting finale. If this was her last moment, then it's her last moment, and that's not a bad way for that character to go out with him, beating her up. Poe, man, badass. That dreadnought thing was just crazy cool. And the guy, they show how good a pilot he is in this. Now, I guess we should talk about that one shot that other people are talking about, and that's where Laura Dern has her moment to shine, and just when you think all is lost, she turns that ship around and uses it as a missile to go right through Snoke's ship at light speed and just blows up like the freaking, like, it doesn't just take out like Snoke's ship, it takes out like, it looks like it took out like other ships around it, and that shot was badass, and how it went dead silence, beautiful, just God, gorgeous. So, man, there were just so many moments. And when you find out, sorry, bouncing around a little, but when Kylo and Luke meet, and they're firing all those weapons, and he's out there, and he goes through him, and he doesn't disappear. I went, he ain't there, man. To my dad. And so as soon as they cut to that reveal of Luke on the island sending an image of himself to the planet to confront Kylo and not even be there, I turned into that guy again. I was like, yeah! Again, the only person in the audience who couldn't just clap. I had to, yeah. It wasn't screaming it, but like loud enough for everybody in the theater to hear. So that was just complete badassery. And yes, whatever that expenditure of energy did end up taking Luke's life. But like I said, I don't think he's gonna be. He's gonna have some sort of presence in the next movie. So don't be scared about that. I think Rey's gonna need some help. I know I am missing things, but I think I've pretty much covered everything. There's one thing that I didn't like, and that was the end. Very, very, very end. Where the kids that look like they're in a cheesy, told to be in like, they look like they're in a cheesy Target commercial for Star Wars toys. Um, I didn't like them when they first showed up because I was like, they look like they're in a Target commercial. And then that's how they end it with this kid who looks like, hey, just pretend that you're thinking about going to the store and getting Star Wars toys and look to the sky. I know what they were trying to do there, but these kids I felt like I was watching a commercial at the very end of the movie. I know they were trying to look at, there's hope, and the youth, the young, you kids out there in the audience, you can be Jedi too. Buy the toys. That's what I felt. So that just kind of left a little tiny sour taste in my mouth there, and an otherwise perfect experience for me. So this movie is for me. This is a 10 out of 10 for me. I should lower it because of the Finn and Rose stuff, but I just can't because I enjoyed, while I was watching it, I enjoyed it. And maybe I question things later, but it never stopped me from enjoying it. I enjoyed this whole movie from start to finish. I thought I'd have more to complain about, but I just don't. So, if you like this video, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. We are at 34 subscribers, one person away from 35 to make it what we wanted for the end of the year. So hopefully somebody will watch this and like this and subscribe. We can hit 35 subscribers for 2017, and then we'll work on going to 40 or 50 later on in the year, next year. So anyway, Last Jedi. Go see it as soon as you can and see it many times, because this movie deserves your money. You will not be disappointed. If you are disappointed, I am very sorry. If you want, you can come beat me up. I live in Kingston, Illinois. So, this is Rob from Channel Smirking Gun, and we will see you on the next video. Yes! Go see this movie!